Hi guys, how are you?
Hey Josh,
Pretty
how you
good.
doing?
So great to speak to you. I had a blast watching this film, and I wanted to start with you, Michael. No spoilers, as we have seen this in the trailer, but your character Argon does get to suit up in the film. So, what was that experience like, and is it really as hot as he claims?
It's very warm. It's very warm. First of all, we're shooting in Atlanta, hot Atlanta. You know what I mean? So like already it's warm. The walls are warm. When you get out of your car and it's you have AC on and you let it sit, it gets fogged up. So I'm like it's super hot. And then you toss on a layer, and then you toss on another layer and another layer. You're like, what did I sign up for? So it was. I mean, that was a real easy improv to come up with, while we're filming.
Yeah, for sure. And Jesse, Irons gets something of a potential villain origin story at the start of the film, but what do you think stops him heading down the darker route we see Argon, for example, where it goes down as he embarks on that quest for power?
Well, I think because Irons, his quest is not for power. His quest is actually for this source energy to be of service to the whole world. He has been pursuing the confirmation of this level of intelligence and technology for so long, and wants to put it to use for people and not just have it hoarded for one guy to be a hero. So it's not about him harnessing it for himself. It's about him getting it and then distributing it. So it's less about it's more about the source and not about Owen. So it's not like a personal rivalry as much as he wants to redistribute the wealth. He's the Bernie Sanders of villains. That's what I was going for.
Bernie
Yeah.
Sanders of villains.
It's a good description. And because both of your characters, you're both working with some fantastic kid actors in this film, but both your characters really give those kids a hard time. So do you ever feel bad about that, or were they giving you back as good as they were getting on set?
Yeah, exactly. They were giving it back. They deserve it. Honestly, these kids, they look nice and cute, but on set, these kids, they had it coming.
Tough kids, tough kids. They had their tutor, and they, if they wanted any food, it was brought right up to them. It was they have a good life.
Yeah.
The first scene that I shot with them, they were all being super mean. They had the upper hand, and that set the tone. And I'm like, you know what? No holds barred.
Yeah, they got to learn somehow.
And of course, Argon, he's a very ruthless businessman, but for you, Michael, in terms of tapping into who this guy is as a CEO, did you look to any real life, maybe businessman or CEO for inspiration and borrow a little from them? Or did you just look at creating him from scratch?
No, I did. I'm like, we talked about, what's his name?
Pharma Bro.
Martin Shkreli. He, I watched a documentary about him, and even when he was trying to humble brag, he was still like not cool, but he thinks he's super cool, and I looked at, I didn't try to imitate the guy, but there's definitely a way of thinking where you just you have a justification for all of your actions, good or bad. And, he's just so used to it, and that muscles exercise so well that he's just used to it and can justify anything. And that's what, that's how he sleeps at night.
Yeah, for sure. And I loved something about this film. I loved was that spy kids meet superhero sort of vibe. But you've both been part of big properties, obviously Michael Marvel and Jesse with Grey's Anatomy. But when a project like this comes along and it is something original, does that instantly jump out to you as actors?
Yeah. I mean, for a variety of reasons. First, I thought about it's something my kids can watch and would be excited about. It falls into that genre that's beloved to me, which is those kind of coming of age adventure films in the 80s and 90s that are so fun to rewatch and experience and you remember. So there's that, and then being able to, the directors Henry and Rel are so passionate and creative and funny. That there's somebody I immediately knew I wanted to work with, I feel comfortable with. They're fired up, they believe in their work, and then being able to work with this group of actors, with Michael and Owen, absolutely. And it's backed by Bruckheimer. You've got quite a mix of wonderful ingredients there.
Yeah, for sure. And finally, guys, I have to ask this: there's a lot of fanny pack talk in this film. Have you guys ever been guilty of owning a fanny pack, or maybe still owning one?
I own one. I used to wear one a lot when I was riding my bike everywhere through Philadelphia in college and after. So that was my transporter because your back gets sweaty with the whole backpack on in the summer. But I wore it cool. It wasn't in the front. It wasn't a front butt, as I think you say in the movie.
Oh, they kept that?
Yeah. And but you wear it kind of off the right hip, which I think is that sweet spot. There's a cool on the pie chart. That's the cool spot. It's about 4 o'clock. That's where you can.
Oh, it's about 4 o'clock.
Yeah,
like so,
you can get away
a little
with
bit
that.
back.
Yeah.
I've never, I grew up like in the hood, so I don't think I don't think they sold fanny packs in my hood, but
I feel like there was a brief early 80s like
was
leather as part of that, and almost in like a Dapper Dan vibe, Chanel. There might have been.
I probably couldn't afford it back in the day because a fanny pack is,
it's an added item. It's not it's not one of the basics.
But it's an accessory, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Sure. Well,
I'm gonna rock
guys.
a fanny pack now.
Absolutely. Well, guys, thank you so much for your time. As I said, it's really enjoyed this film and so great to speak to you both. So thanks so much again.
Thank you.
Have a great one.